With a short week, the Commanders don't have much time to dwell on their loss to the Giants. We turn the page and look ahead to Washington's trip out west to face the 49ers. And offensively, the Commanders have shown their flashes at times, but how can they improve on their consistency? We sent Logan Paulsen inside the film room to remind us what they do best. Plus, rookie wide receiver Jahan Dotson is making a living in opponents' end zones lately. He joined Santana Moss to discuss his rookie campaign. And welcome into Command Center. Julie Donaldson, London Fletcher, and Santana Moss. Gentlemen, it is a short week, and that in of itself presents enough challenges. Yeah. But now you're coming off a really disappointing and hard loss to accept, and you're going up against one of the most difficult teams to go up against. Santana, what are the emotions for the players?
I think the best thing about this week it is short. You know, I like to hear them get back out there and kind of get that taste out of my mouth. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be going through it all week long, because you kind of never really put it behind you until you really put it behind you. But you got to go out there and play the next game, you know. I mean, one of the things about this league is that, you know, we are who we are. So we put that out there on tape. Now we have to go out there and show that we can play better.
Yeah, you have to have a short memory. With it being a short week, so to speak, Sunday Night Football, hey, you get an opportunity to go out and start practicing right away, getting prepared for the San Francisco 49ers. You have to flip the page.
And this team has done it against the Philadelphia Eagles, so it can be done against San Fran, but definitely not an easy task at all. So since taking over as starting quarterback, the Commanders have posted a 5-2-1 record with Taylor Heinicke, and they find themselves holding on to the final playoff position in the NFC. Despite the loss to New York, Heinicke has moved the ball well as of late, throwing for over 200 yards in back-to-back games for the second time this season. And according to head coach Ron Rivera, he's done enough to keep the starting job for now.
I think the biggest thing more than anything else is, you know, sticking with Taylor and what we're trying to establish. You know, and it is something, though, that obviously is talked about, obviously, out there. And it is something that, you know, to be quite frank, as I do have to think about at some point. But if we can if we can get back on track and play the way we've played and do things that we've done, you know, then we'll stick with where we are. Until then, you know, I will do that.
Okay, so not making a change despite the fact that Carson Wentz could potentially be your starter should they want to do that. And he even alluded to the fact that you have to think about it even the last game of potentially making a change out there. But Taylor did get that touchdown drive, so he kept him in. Not the right game, though, London, to go up and try and make a change, especially knowing how the 49ers can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, it's a situation where we just haven't scored enough points in the red zone, and I think that's where Ron is kind of looking at it. Like, we've moved the football, and it's been run-oriented offense, totally different style of offense than when Carson was the starting quarterback, but we have to be more efficient in the red zone. And there's also a situation where Taylor hasn't made enough of the simple plays where not have to be spectacular, go through his progressions, hit the open man, and move the chains, or take advantage of the defense and score touchdowns.
Yeah, one of the things that stand out to me is just because Taylor has something about him that he finds a way to get it done when it's not over, you know. And when you have that kind of it about yourself and your team still finds a way to play around you, it's hard to take you out unless you just go out there and lay an egg. So I know that's going to make it real difficult until he go out there and just lose the job.
One thing, as Ron looks at his statement about looking at a possible quarterback change, it's not an indictment of what happened on Sunday night. I think he's looking at the last few ball games where, you know, one thing about Taylor, he wasn't getting sacked a lot initially. Last two ball games, he's been sacked 8 times, had the turnovers, the situations where you're taking points off the board, and that's where he's had to say, okay, is it time to change up? Because now we're not only getting sacked, we're not scoring points in situations that we should score points.
I mean, it would be difficult to make the change, I think, at this point, but maybe not. I don't know. There's 3 games left, and the quarterback, Carson Wentz, hasn't played in 2 months. Taylor Heinicke has been the one that adjusted the offense for that. But at least for this game, it's going to be Taylor. And then we'll see going forward, should they decide to say, okay, let's see what Carson has and if he can do anything, because the stakes are going to get real high, more than they already are at this moment right now. which means you kind of need all hands on deck.
Yeah.
We've been awaiting the return of Chase Young. Of course, we also saw how not having Benjamin St. Juste out there was very costly as well. So Santana, look, it's really tight playoff push right now.
Yeah.
Do you want Chase out there? Do you need Chase out there? Like, when he says all hands on deck, is he taking some of the pressure off Chase?
No, I mean, I don't think you can look for Chase to come in here and be no savior right now. I think I would love to see him out there if he's able to go out there. I'm not sure how healthy he is or mentally, where he's at. But I feel that an extra body will help. I mean, you can have him come in there and be a spark just like, anyone else who you haven't had out there who has that potential that he has. But I'm not looking at him to come out there and just make that much of a difference.
You can see it seems like the defensive line, especially the ends, are getting worn down a little bit. The energy that Chase brings to the football field, it will definitely, we could benefit from that. So hopefully he's fully healthy and feels good and comfortable about going and playing in this ball game.
You definitely need your team as healthy as possible at this point of the season. And of course, for what we know is going to be a very vaunted test on Christmas Eve out in San Francisco. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into the Commanders' offensive numbers this season. They've recorded at least 375 total yards in consecutive games since the opening 2 games of the season. But as we mentioned before, that production has not always resulted in points. But as they are averaging just under 19 points a game. However, if you ask Logan Paulsen, well, he thinks Washington should stick with their strengths and the success will follow. It's time to go inside the film room, presented by Amino. It pays to be healthy.
It's always tough coming in after a loss and breaking down the film, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this offense and some things that they had a hard time with in the first half. And I think one of the things is they got a little ahead of themselves, got into doing some stuff they weren't overly comfortable with, and we'll start off with this play right here. This is a zone read. They're going to isolate Kayvon Thibodeau here. They're going to try and get the ball here to our guy Curtis Samuel in the backfield, and the reason they're isolating this defensive end is so they can pull the guard and tackle from the backside and leave this player unblocked. This is something that Philadelphia had a ton of success with, and I bet you Scott checked the film and said, man, we can run this play. We have good athletes. We got a guy who can run the football, and we aren't quite as comfortable with this. This group right here, they're not 100% familiar with that, and that shows up on this play, right? Gets a little bit tight here on the pulls, get pushed back. Again, not super comfortable with this play. This is not who they are. This is not who they want to be. This team wants to be a duo downhill running team. They've got big, strong, athletic guards and tight ends that are physical and are going to block at the point of attack, right? That's what they got here. And I look at this and I say, this is why they're really good at this, is because they've got a lot of reps at it and they know how to block different looks. The Giants are running a little run set here to try and stop duo. They know that this is what the Commanders want to do. They're trying to stop the duo. The tight ends fit this up great. Look at these blocks here on the front side by the tight ends. If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what does. Get a nice crease here for Brian Robinson. And Brian Robinson understands how the run is supposed to hit. He's patient. You see the footwork. You see the athleticism. He's able to turn a play that should be a loss into a 5-yard gain. Gets you to 2nd and 5. Gets you ahead of the sticks. That's where you want to be offensively running the football, and that gets you fired up. But it also, what I think it allows you to do is allows you to develop other concepts off of this, other play passes, right? This is the touchdown to Jahan up here at the top off of a post, and it's all set up off the backfield action. It's the same thing here. They're going to run this duo concept. They're going to kick out the defensive end. And what it does is it forces the linebackers to step up in the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at that. Step up in the line of scrimmage. They create space. They're matching in man. Logan Thomas is going to run across the formation. This guy's going to match him. There's going to be a huge window here. Really well-designed play off of this. And look at the protection. Look at the pocket that's provided for Taylor. This is a long developing route here, and it all is set up because of this duo action. And again, great route by Jahan, working the outside shoulder of the defender, coming across, and then you can't overstate this guy's hands and his ability to catch the football. Love this contested catch. Love the soft hands. Love the competitiveness at the catch point. But again, that's an explosive play set off of the run action. And it's not just there. It's every single one of their explosive plays practically came off of this action. This is the touch. This is the huge play to Jahan. Again, you get this cross-sift action by the tight end coming back. You get double teams all across. And one of the guys you got to be worried about is Dexter Lawrence. And what this play action does is it makes him think, is this run or is this pass? I got my hands on the block. I'm a magnet to the blocker. I'm not trying to defeat the block. I'm stuck on the block, and it gets all crowded in there. There's nowhere to go with the football. Again, look at this pocket. It gives Taylor room to avoid this little bit of pressure by Lucas, step up in the pocket, find this space. Beautiful pocket, and then I can arm punt this football down the field, and having playmakers like this allows you to make these types of plays. So everyone says, where are they going to find these explosive plays? They found them. They found their identity. Run the football using duo, using this play action pass. Set this stuff up down the field because you can find easy chunk throws, especially with playmakers like this. I mean, that's a great catch. We have to put the angle on here twice just to show you how good it was. I mean, this guy has some of the softest hands you've ever seen, and it gets you fired up. Look at that. No pull. I thought this might have been offensive pass interference. No pull with the hands, just gracefully over the top of this, right in the basket, contested catch. DB has no chance. And so when people say, what's wrong with the offense? I just think the offense strayed a little bit far from what they do well. Run the football downhill, set up the play action pass, find these explosive playmakers in the context of that. And I think if they do this against San Francisco, which they can do this against San Francisco, they're going to be in a really good spot to maybe win that football game. And I can't wait to check it out this weekend.
Now, if you like those breakdowns, you do not want to miss Command Center Coach Commands with Ron Rivera. Logan and Coach break down the game tape like you will not see anywhere else. And this weekend, because of the Saturday game, you can catch it at 12 noon on NBC. And then right after that, it is the Players Club with London Fletcher and Santana Moss at 12:30. Well, coming up, Jahan Dotson is closing in on some franchise rookie receiving records following his most recent touchdown. He joins us to discuss his season after the break. And we send London and Santana down to the practice field to check in on the team as they prepare for the 49ers on a short week. Don't go anywhere. Last Sunday night, Jahan Dotson recorded his first career 100-yard receiving game when he finished with 105 yards and a TD on 4 receptions. The rookie now has 6 receiving touchdowns on the season, which is third most by a rookie in franchise history. Only Charlie Brown and Terry McLaurin had more during their rookie campaigns. And here he is with our wideout, Santana Moss.
I got the Commanders' star rookie receiver here, Jahan, coming off your first 100-yard game. Tell me what that feeling was like, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty cool feeling to get that under my belt. Something that I've always dreamed about. I'm a big yards guy, so a lot of yards, 100 yards, that's big.
We all big yard guys. I've been in them shoes before.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Speaking of the 100-yard game, the big catch you had. I mean, what was that like, man? Locating that ball. You know, I've been in that moment before. You got a guy running stride for stride with you. You know that he can't see the ball like you can see it, and you just made the perfect play, man. The perfect adjustment. What was that like? How was that going through that whole moment in your head?
Yeah, so as crazy as it sounds, you know, those moments, they kind of slow down for me a little bit. So when the ball's in the air, it feels like I have forever to adjust to it. So I'm just trying to – I know the DB's right there. He's worried about me. He's not worried about the ball in the air. So I know I'm going to shoot my hands as late as possible. And I did that, and I was able to come up with a big play for the team.
I'm wondering, watching you play the last few weeks, there's something about that team in New Jersey that you just get up for.
Yeah.
Is it a little coincidence that you shine against those Giants, or you tell me what it is about those guys?
Hey, you know, that's where I'm from. I'm from Jersey, so you know, I gotta kill the home team, put it on when I'm back in Jersey and back here in DC when we play in Jersey. So
yeah, it's always great playing against your home team, and then you know you kind of get up for that, just knowing, man, hey, you know, you grew up kind of hearing about those guys.
Right.
Having the little hiccup early in the season with the hamstring, what was that transition like to get back into real form? It seemed like you look like yourself again. You know, how was overcoming that, you know, now feeling like yourself again? How that feeling been for you?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, when you get to take a step away from the game, it really makes you realize how much the game means to you. So getting back out there, it meant the most to me, and I wanted to be 100% and just give it all for my team. So just getting back on the field was big for me.
Yeah, it's great. You know, early in the season, we was all saying that you had so much chemistry with Wentz, and now you have to experience something that I experienced so often in my career. You have to make those adjustments on the fly, and now, you know, get your reps up, you know, with Heineke. You know, how's that transition been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, working out here at practice every single day, getting those reps in is big for us because, you know, we didn't get those reps in the preseason, in the off season. So building those reps every single day, just becoming more comfortable with each other, has been working out.
Speaking of the reps and then just having a chance to sit back and watch guys like Terry, watch guys like Curtis, you know, how's that veteran mentorship been for you and your experience so far?
Yeah, having guys that have been there in your room with you right there every step of the way along your journey is big for you, just because, they've seen everything that you're going to go through almost. So it's big, having those guys and just being able to talk to those guys every single day when I have questions or I have confusion about something. Those guys, they got answers for me.
Have you ever played on a Christmas Eve game?
I have never.
So this is your first?
First time.
Oh, they fun, man. They fun. I may have to tell you, man, I had one of my best games ever. My first year here was on Christmas Eve against the Giants. So, I'm going to give you a little look. I had 3 touchdowns that game. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out there for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping, man, that Christmas comes early for you guys, man, and y'all get a win, man. But best of luck to you this weekend, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Jahan and the Commanders will be put to the test when they travel to San Francisco this weekend. But the good news is Washington is unbeaten in their last 5 road games, and their 4-2-1 road record has them already clinching their first winning road record since 2016. And with 1 game away from D.C. left on the schedule, of course, they want to add to that total. But how do they do that? How do they prepare for the 49ers? Well, this is our FedEx Field Pass. FedEx, where now meets next.
Thanks, Julie. Santana, we're getting ready to face the San Francisco 49ers. You know all about this offense, having played in Kyle's offense. What makes his offense so difficult for defenses to deal with?
I think one of the things that stands out about Kyle's offense is that he finds a way to get skillful guys in situations where he creates a mismatch mostly all the time. I mean, his offense is loaded, and I thought it was just something with us when we was over here because we had so much talent, but everywhere he's been, it almost looked identical. He finds a guy that he can run the ball well. He finds a receiver that can, do both, be a Swiss Army knife. He finds another receiver that can run every route. And one of the things that stand out the most is, as much as he liked to run those outside zone runs with his running backs, he also like to have them in the passing game because their mixed match against the linebackers is vital to his offense. And he's big on space, creating space, with his players, with his skill guys, and, tying that concept of run pass together so it looks like the same thing. And before you saw the run, now you think he's coming again, and now he hits you with the pass.
Well, you mentioned Kyle and his offense in the run game, the outside zone. And they got the outside zone. They got the inside zone. They run counters and powers. They'll have a toss that's designed to go inside, and they got tosses that go outside. So it's really not just about the outside zone. They have a multitude of different rushing runs that they attack you with defensively, and it really puts you on your heels defensively because now they also have play actions off of that, bootlegs and all those types of things. You mentioned the running backs. Yeah. They got Christian McCaffrey. When he's healthy, one of the best backs in the league, coming off consecutive games with over 100 yards rushing. What does he bring to this offense?
I think one of the things that stand out the most is just his ability to go out there and run routes like a receiver. That's something that to me that stands out. It jumps off. He had Mostert a couple of years ago. He always find those kind of backs, but you can look at Mostert and the things he did when he was here. But when you put a McCaffrey in that position, that same position, you just see how much more he elevated that offense just knowing that he had the capability of running between the tackles as well. You know what I mean? And not to say the other guys haven't, but he just very lethal at doing it. But more than that, man, he just finds a way, man. I know one of the things I love the most about his offense is where he can put you in a formation and make different guys run the same route from the same formation. And he was good at that. He was like a mad scientist, just like he was always in the lab, just scheming, mixing up something that he can show the defense that they saw before or they think they saw before, and we get to the same route by someone else running it.
Yeah, with the personnel groupings, the personnel that he has, obviously they got McCaffrey, also George Kittle, one of the tops in the game. We're going to be challenged defensively to come up with a scheme to defend those guys from a linebacker standpoint. Also, safety. I know we'll probably try to put a safety, more than likely, a safety on McCaffrey. I don't know how much we'll try to give him a steady dose of putting a linebacker on him. I'm really excited to see what type of game plan we have to face to stop this potent offense of the San Francisco 49ers. I know the defense, they get a lot of attention out in the San Fran, but that offense definitely presents a lot of challenges. That's it from the practice field. Give you a field view. Back to you.
Okay, good stuff, guys. Come on back here in studio because we are taking a look back at 2005, where Santana had a big game against the 49ers. We have more Command Center next. This season, we are celebrating 90 with Dominion National, and we take it back to 2005, Washington hosting the 49ers. And this game was a pretty one-sided affair. Washington's offense erupted for 457 total yards, including over 200 on the ground. Clinton Portis had 3 touchdowns on the day, and our guy, Santana Moss, led all receivers with 112 yards and a TD. Washington wins big, 52-17. Miss those days of you playing, Tana.
Yeah, man, bro.
See if you get that end zone. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need Tana in the end zone.
That tape looked like it was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That tape looked, that was VHS, a beta.
Like, wasn't that long ago. So we figured it's pretty much almost Christmas. It's the holiday season. Let's get your holiday wish list for Washington. Trying to get that win in San Francisco. And Santana, I'll just start with you.
I wish you'd asked me this last week because I would have asked for a win on Sunday night. But I think right now on my list is just finishing the season out strong, man. That's end with a winning record. Let's end this year with a winning record.
Well, that's what we need, right?
I want to celebrate Christmas with a victory. Go into San Francisco and upset the 49ers. That would be a major gift for us.
I mean, it can be done, right?
Oh,
it
absolutely.
Certainly can. That's why they play the game on any given Sunday.
No doubt.
I mean, that would be my Christmas wish. I want a victory in San Francisco. Because if you get that, then you come home, you take on the Cleveland Browns. That, by all means, is a great winnable game. We'll see what happens to close out the season against the Cowboys. Is that what we call them, or the Cowgirls?
Whatever you want to call them. Who cares?
Yeah.
This is the Cowboy Killer.
We'll find a way to pounce on them.
Man, can you imagine how Christmas morning will be after celebrating the victory?
Yeah.
Going into San Francisco.
It's almost like it's just gift wrap for us, because San
Yeah.
Francisco riding high. They feel like there's no way these guys going to come in here and do what they do. You got to think. They have a young QB. I mean, I know he's a rookie. I know he's been playing well, but if we have a chance to ride him a little bit and get out there.
Oh, Christmas morning would be so much better with a victory. That is for sure. We wish you all a very happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll be celebrating a W.